Look, we've literally all been there, right? You have this brilliant, crystal clear vision in your head for an image. You type it into the AI, hit enter, and what comes back is just a total mess. We're talking people with deformed hands, beautiful storefronts ruined by completely garbled gibberish text, or a recurring character who somehow looks like a totally different person in every single shot. It is incredibly frustrating. But what if I told you that the AI isn't broken at all? You just need a better blueprint. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to conquer ChatGPT Images 2.0. We're going to completely transform how you interact with this tool, moving you away from those hopeful, vague guesses and turning you into a true prompt master.
All right, so here is our roadmap for today. We're going to hit 5 key areas. First, perfecting the basic prompt. Second, mastering negative prompts. Third, fixing that garbled text. Fourth, nailing consistent characters. And finally, number 5, we'll get into some truly viral workflows. Let's dive right into our first section, perfecting the basic prompt and really building that solid foundation. The absolute most fundamental thing you have to understand is that ChatGPT is, at its core, a conversational model. How you talk to it completely dictates what you get. A prompt like "a nice beach," well, that's just a vague guess. It forces the AI to fill in the blanks on its own, and let's be honest, that rarely matches the vision you had in your head. Contrast that with explicitly covering the subject, action, setting, lighting, and style. Try something like serene beach, turquoise waves gently lapping, golden sunset lighting, photorealistic style. As the Agentic Workers blog points out, when you provide those specific pillars, you're giving the AI a rigid framework to actually build upon.
And once you have that foundation, whatever you do, don't just dump a 500-word paragraph on the AI all at once. Instead, you want to use something called prompt chaining. This is where you build complex images step by step. Start with your broad foundational scene, generate it, and then iteratively add details in your very next message. Tell it, now add a family having a picnic. Then, now add a kite in the sky. This layers the details progressively, which means the AI doesn't get overwhelmed and confused by too much information at once.
Moving right along to our second section, let's talk about the power of negative prompts, or controlling exactly what you don't want to see. If your main prompt is what you want, you can think of your negative prompt as a conversational no-fly zone. Unlike some other image generators out there, DALL-E 3, which powers ChatGPT images, doesn't actually have a separate text box for negative prompts. You have to weave those exclusions directly into your natural language request. So, instead of crossing your fingers for an empty landscape by just saying a pristine natural scene, you take control. You say a pristine natural scene without any people, no houses, exclude modern structures. You literally use command words like without, avoid, and exclude right inside your sentence. To make this super actionable for you right now, here are some essential negative constraints from the free AI Prompt Maker Guide. If you're battling gibberish text, just add without any text, no watermarks. Sick of the AI's terrifying alien biology? We all know the 7-fingered hands. Just explicitly tell it to avoid deformed hands, no extra limbs. And if you want a generally cleaner look, command it to remove blur, no noise, crisp details. Honestly, sometimes being just a little redundant with these phrases actually helps reinforce the rules for the AI. All right, let's jump into section 3, which tackles a massive headache for pretty much everyone, fixing garbled AI text to get crisp, legible typography.
Text rendering is still a huge pain point for creators, mostly because the AI prioritizes visual coherence over typographical accuracy. Basically, it wants the image to look pretty way more than it wants the spelling to be correct. The experts at Rework Studio laid out this really helpful root cause analysis. If you ask for complex serif fonts with fine details, the AI just breaks. The fix? Explicitly ask for simple sans serif fonts, like Helvetica. If you give it long descriptions, it gets completely overwhelmed. So you've got to limit your AI text requests to 3 to 5 words tops. And finally, square aspect ratios often compress text horizontally, so you should definitely test out wide or panoramic aspect ratios to just give those letters some room to breathe. But look, for true professionals out there, especially if you're in e-commerce, relying purely on the AI for your text is just too risky. That leads us to the hybrid e-commerce workflow. Step 1, you generate your image with a short sans serif prompt. Step 2, you generate 5 to 10 variations, because let's face it, the first one rarely nails it. But step 3 is the actual magic bullet, post-editing. The ultimate pro fix is to generate a beautiful background or product shot that is completely empty of text, and then you just overlay your flawless typography using editing software later on. Separating the AI visuals from your typography is literally the only way to guarantee perfect legibility every single time.
Okay, section 4. This is the big one. Creating consistent AI characters using the AI but make it intimate method. We are now entering what pretty much everyone considers the ultimate boss battle in AI art, keeping the exact same character face and outfit across multiple different images. Now, to solve this, you have to understand the enemy, which is called prompt drift. Ironically, if you add a massive, highly detailed description of your character's nose, eyes, and hair, you actually make them look less consistent. The model just gets confused trying to pattern match against way too many words, and suddenly your character drifts into looking like a totally different person.
The breakthrough solution here comes from Christina Bogovich and Calder Quinn in their publication, AI But Make It Intimate. They realized that describing characters with text is a total trap. This led to a brilliant paradigm shift. The prompt handles the scene, the sheet handles the identity. You don't describe the character to the AI, you show it a labeled reference sheet.
So here is your exact, repeatable workflow. Step 1, upload 2 or 3 reference images of the character you want to create. Step 2, ask ChatGPT to generate a multi-angle face sheet, showing them from the front and the side. And crucially, have the AI visually write the character's name directly onto that generated image. Step 3 is the absolute most important part. To prevent that prompt drift from your previous conversations, you have to open a completely fresh chat every single time you want a new image. You just attach that saved face sheet and then you prompt.
Seriously, look at how much this method simplifies your life. Without a sheet, you're stuck typing a massive paragraph trying to perfectly describe hair color, eye shape, the exact clothing style, and it still probably fails. But when you attach the reference sheet, your prompt becomes literally one sentence. Christina is sitting at a coffee shop reading a book. Because the attached image has her face and the name Christina written right on it, the AI pattern matches that visual identity perfectly. The sheet handles who it is. Your one sentence handles what they are doing. It is an absolute game changer.
Finally, we've arrived at section 5, viral and advanced workflows, where we push the absolute limits of this tech.
Now that we have the basics totally locked down, let's look at some incredible viral workflows sourced from Maverick AI. I'm going to rapid fire through these just to show you what is possible when you combine context with structure. Did you know you can upload a photo and create a collector action figure packaging based on your real life? Or you can generate entire brand kits. We're talking logos, hex codes, and tote bag mockups in a single prompt. Try using the exact phrase 360 equirectangulate panorama with a 2:1 aspect ratio to generate a massive scene that you can literally drop right into a VR viewer. You can upload a selfie to make a personal color and hairstyle lookbook, or even transform your messy handwritten notes into a beautifully formatted digital infographic. The possibilities are genuinely endless once you know how to command the tool.
And for the absolute perfectionists out there who need strict brand-level control over aesthetics that goes way beyond ChatGPT's default style, there's what we call the black belt workflow. This is a 2-tool advanced strategy. First, you use ChatGPT's massive reasoning power to write a highly detailed 400-word visual brief. Have a cover lighting, camera angles, emotional tone, the whole shebang. But then, you take that perfectly crafted brief and drop it into an external tool, like Gemini or Midjourney, to actually generate the image. You're basically using the absolute best text brain to feed the absolute best visual brain. We have covered a huge amount of ground today in this explainer, from laying the foundation with prompt chaining, to leveraging those negative constraints, mastering text, and completely locking in your character consistency. So knowing that how you talk to the AI is every bit as important as what you ask it for, what is your first prompt master creation going to be? It is time to stop guessing, open up a fresh chat window, and start building. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I absolutely can't wait to see what you all create.